This looks like it's it, baby. Oh, this is absolutely gorgeous.
Good morning. So, as you can see, I am not in a tent, I'm in a hotel room. Yesterday, from about 1 p.m. until 7 p.m, it didn't stop raining. It was pouring, absolutely bucketing with rain the whole day. The first couple of hours on my bike, or the first actually 3 or 4 hours, I didn't really care. I was like dry, I was warm. My jacket was keeping all of the water off me. It was windproof as well. You know, I was kind of like feeling confident and smug about the fact that I'd bought some good new motorcycle gear and it was doing its job and it was keeping me a lot warmer and drier than my old gear. However, that quite quickly turns, because I think even some of the best waterproof gear out there, at some point it will give in. And what was happening is on my arms, the water was starting to seep through. My neck was freezing cold because I didn't have a storm neck on. My legs were soaking because my trousers were not as good quality as my jacket. So I was really drenched all the way through. My gloves were completely soaking because I made the rookie mistake of putting the gloves on the outside of the jacket instead of on the inside, so the water was just running off the jacket into the gauntlet. I was really sodden. The one part of my body that was completely bone dry was my feet, which I have to say, impressed. That's the Gore-Tex boot for you. Quite pricey, but that really kept me dry and really made a difference. So I spent all of last night drying all my gear. You can see some of it still hanging here on the lampshades. There's a load more in the bathroom as well. I was stood there with a hairdryer until about 1 in the morning trying to get all the gear dry, but it's pretty much ready to go. I'm happy enough that it's dry and ready to be worn again for the new day's riding. Yeah, so I've woken up in Schweinfurt. I've had my breakfast, had a good night's sleep in the hotel, and now I am about to get dressed, pack all my stuff on the bike, and hit the road direction Würzburg. I'm going to do a little stop on the way because I want to get an SD card for the drone so I can finally get the drone out, because the weather looks like it's going to be a lot better the next days. And I am considering also getting a navigation, the Garmin Zumo XT, which obviously all the motorcyclists rave about. It's not cheap, that's my only concern, but to be honest, I've really had it up to here with all of the different navigation apps that I've tried. None of them really do the job as they're supposed to or as I want them to. They're all slow at loading. The navigation leaves a lot to be desired, and it also becomes very difficult to import your desktop files into the app, so your desktop GPX files into the app, and for them to actually reflect the original routes that you planned accurately. So yeah, I'm fed up with them. I want to just basically have a proper piece of kit that is designed for navigation and won't just, as soon as it starts raining, stop charging, because that's what was happening with my phone yesterday. It was pouring with rain and I was unable to charge it because I received a warning signal to say there was water in the lightning cable slot. That's a whole nother topic. I am thinking about doing it. I'm not sure if I will yet. I will see you guys. I am off.
Give you a small little insight into Schweinfurt. That's where I had dinner yesterday, the Brauhaus. After the day that I had yesterday, a schnitzel and an ice cold Helles. Oh, it was just so glorious. Like when you're on these sorts of trips and you're out of your comfort zone and you don't have your home comforts, it makes such a difference when you then do have a little treat. It just tastes incredible. So I really enjoyed that yesterday. Very traditional cuisine, as I have now crossed the border into Bavaria. It was a traditional Wirtshaus, which I know very well growing up, and well familiarized with the Wiener Schnitzel, which was pretty decent, I have to say, and only 11 euros, which I think is a very fair price for a good schnitzel. And I am going to get a thermal lining for underneath my jacket, because the one I have is 20 years old. Yeah, I actually bought it 20 years ago when I hitchhiked from Edinburgh to Paris with a very good friend of mine. And the rules were basically first to get to Paris wins. It was like a big group of us. And you can't spend a single cent on transport. Don't know how many kilometers that was. Probably about 1,500, something like that. And it was a really fun experience. And basically for that, because I knew it was going to be cold, it was winter time, I think, we both bought thermal underwear, and I bought this. And obviously at the time, student, didn't have a lot of money, bought the cheapest thing I could. And that's what I've been using on my motorbike tours. And to be honest, I just like, it's not at all waterproof, it's not at all windproof, it doesn't really keep me warm. So essentially, it doesn't perform any of the actual functions for why it was made. So its purpose for existence is somewhat being called into question. After these little errands that I'm running, I am going to ride further south, start the romantic road. I'll see how far I get. The idea would be to get to Dinkersbühl, if possible, which basically is about 200 kilometers or so, so I'm not going to take on as much as I took on yesterday. And yeah, I'm going to really enjoy the ride. I'm really hoping to camp again this evening. I really want that experience. And yeah, I'm positive, happy to be on the road, happy to see what the day brings. The road just snakes into the distance, crisscrossing the countryside. There's hardly anyone about. The weather is perfect. This is just what motorcycling is all about. This is absolutely incredible. And here's another one of those gorgeous little villages. Remote, quiet, very small number of people. A lot of these villages don't even have a shop. And just beautiful little pretty coloured homes. Some thatched roofs as well I've seen along the way. A little church in the middle. Oh, it's just so serene. Absolutely gorgeous. And when you see towns like this, you do understand why they call it the romantic road. It's just made for motorbiking. It really is. I've never driven roads like this before. Around where we live is just nothing like this. This is just intoxicating. Completely addictive. Oh. Little towns along the romantic road are so pretty. Oh, and the road just opens up again. This is just incredible. I'm lost for words. All of the rain, all of the shit, wetness and cold, it doesn't matter, but this moment makes it all worth it. So, I have found a lovely little camping site for tonight on a website some of you might know called Road Surfer. And essentially it's where people rent their private pieces of land to people who want to go and camp there. And this is a little site on an old, very small airport, little airfield. I'm super excited. They apparently even have a little barbecue area. But my plan is to just cook a really nice hearty meal tonight. First time I'll be cooking on the trip. Oh, took a little wrong turn. First time I'll be cooking on the trip because the first night I had one of the dry meals, which was also very, very tasty. Oh, kind of a little bit of a risky maneuver in the middle of the road. Yeah, first night I had a dry meal, and tonight, because I'm arriving a little bit early at camp, half an hour earlier, I'm hoping to have enough time to do a real cook. And boy am I excited. The sun is out. I'm back in the tent, which I'm well chuffed. I really didn't want to stay in a hotel tonight. And if it was going to pour with rain, I was facing that prospect. But no, it has stopped raining and I am on the way to a very nice little spot. The roads are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. fantastic little route there through a tiny little country lane. Keesbach. What do you think the population of Keesbach is? Probably smaller than my apartment building. Oh, just glorious. Absolutely glorious. This looks like it's it, baby. Oh, this is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that view. That is quite a setting, isn't it? I've just arrived at camp, and honestly I could not have wished for anything nicer. There's nobody else around. It's completely peaceful, private, beautiful view of the little town. There's a little barbecue spot there. There's toilets. I mean, this is what I go camping for. Like, this makes me so happy. I get to enjoy the evening here, the privilege of enjoying the evening here, and waking up the next morning to a sunrise over this field with a cup of coffee. Could not be happier. I am now going to build my tent, set up camp, and then if I can, I think this would be a perfect spot to get the drone out. So I'm going to try flying the drone. But first things first, get my camp built. And then, yeah, we'll see. So I'm settled into camp. I am honestly in disbelief of how beautiful and amazing this camping spot is. Like, despite all of the rainy moments on the bike where you're sort of cold and wet and miserable, and you're sort of thinking, why am I doing all of this? I could just be, you know, in the sun somewhere in a nice hotel by a pool. You have those moments, but when you hit
the right spot with the right weather conditions and everything falls into place. It's just unbelievable. It's unparalleled for me personally, and that's why I love to do this. And yeah, I'm camping on what's in Germany called a Segelflugplatz, which is essentially these sailing planes, if you will. They don't have a motor in them. And I was just speaking to the owner. He says they can sail or fly up to 1,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers, 3,000 meters in height, which is unbelievable, really unbelievable. And they occasionally rent out their space here to campers for 1 night, 2 nights, short periods of stay. I mean, I'm just honestly, I'm lost for words how nice it is here. And the thing is that, like, I love camping, but going to campsites is good as like a sort of last resort, but I feel a lot of the beauty of camping gets lost at a campsite because it's full of other people, got lots of caravans sitting around, and you've got lots of noise and hustle and bustle, and you don't get the same nature feeling. And then obviously wild camping at the other end, the other extreme, is not allowed in Germany. And then you have a few in the middle options, and this one is just like the best of both worlds. I have running water, warm water, I have a proper toilet. There's nobody else here. It's completely private, and it's completely legal as well, and it's cheap. And yeah, I'm just so happy. I'm now going to cook a meal for the first time on this trip, and in fact the first time ever on a motorbike. I'm now going to cook a meal. On motorbike, I've only ever eaten in restaurants or eaten dry food, so I'm super excited for that. I'm going to cook a delicious, hopefully delicious, chickpea and egg and zucchini, lots of spices. Then afterwards, I'm going to make a fire. So to top it all off, I get to make a fire later on and warm myself. And just, yeah. Beautiful.